Once upon a time, there was a wizard named Rodrigo, and he cast a terrible spell.
Not that kind of story.
Well, that's what I'm writing, Beth. Rodrigo and his dastardly deeds of depravity. In this chapter, he finds a beautiful, scantily clad, screaming maiden tied up to an enormous
A real one.
Those are boring. Once upon a time, there was a little girl who was being a pest.
Her name was Beth.
And this little girl had a monster of a sister.
Joe.
That's right, its name was Joe.
And Beth liked her monster very much, and
there were two other sisters in there somewhere. And mother and a father. And this family lived in a small house in the shadows of a big city. And outside of that big city was an even bigger country.
And that country went to war.
To war with itself. But even when the father went to fight,
That was hard.
even if the world had split apart, that little girl and her monster, together, they were whole.
What happened when they grew up?
In the story, they never grow up. They just stay the same and it lasts forever.
Nothing lasts forever, Joe. Tell it again.
Already did one side.
Joe.
I don't want to. I don't want to, Meg. You're too young to turn your hair up, Amy.
Miss Amy, you're not wearing nothing but braids. You're too little.
I'm not little, Hannah. I'm practically a full-grown woman. I'm more of a woman than Joe anyway.
What?
Your hands clean at least.
Ink.
Again. I was writing my play. I must
I
use
just
my
wanted to do
inspiration in the
something
morning.
about this.
Marmee killed my spirit.
Oh, some creature came begging and she went off to see what was needed.
Why are you wearing a costume, Joe? We're not rehearsing today.
I'm out of the family with father away.
Josephine is so childish, Meg. It is most aggravating.
Aggravating. That's a new one.
You mean aggravating?
Aggravating.
So what, Joe? A lady should seek to improve her vocabulary.
Vocabulary.
Stop writing it down!
Someday I shall publish the collection.
Well, Josephine!
Eat! Soldiers are starving in the field.
I have no appetite.
Poor Joe. It must be hard to wait on Aunt March all day.
Torture. But come the new year, she'll take me too. Yup!
Would 1,000 times rather sit with Aunt March than be the Mingotts' governess with Mrs. Mingott of the Manhattan Mingotts always talking down to me.
Poor Meg.
At least neither of you have to go to school. The days are quite interminable.
Interminable.
Poor Amy.
Go laugh at my brains and sniff because we're poor and label Papa for being an abolitionist.
Libel. Labels are for pickle bottles.
We all got through school, Amy. You'll survive too. Not Beth. Why did she get to stay home?
Because I'm stupid. Beth had nervous episodes.
I'm nervous.
Amy.
Hush. Why does she get one thing and me another? Different people need different things.
And you need to go to school, for you have a terrible case of the moron. I don't know if that's curable.
Stupid! Inky! Stupid! Oh! Stupid! Josephine! Stupid! When I grow up, I'm going to run away with a prince! That's all! And I don't need school for that, and I shall never spoil my hands with work.
My hands are inky because I'm going to be a great writer and make my mark upon the world. And then I shall buy Meg all the beautiful dresses she wants and you spelling primers. And Beth, what can I get you? A whole hot house full of flowers?
All I want is the family I have. You bad Joe.
How are you going to become a famous writer? You're just a penniless girl with a nasty temper and a pasted-on mustache. Really, Josephine, you're positively delusional. Delusional.
In a couple of weeks, I'm going to Europe, and that's where I'll find the way to make my fortune.
Europe. Nobody cares.
You're just jealous.
Jealous.
You'll see. In Europe, I'll become Shakespeare and Dickens and Thackeray all in one.
Hello, girls.
Oh, they're so cool. Let me take your coat.
Mustachios, Joe. It's early for the theater. Ouch.
Where were you?
Do you remember that immigrant woman with the baby and Mrs. Howard? It's been a hard winter for so many with the war. Perhaps we shouldn't spend for pleasure. With Father away, we can't do much, but we can make some sacrifices. We can each play our part.
No Christmas?
We'll be together and we'll have Joe's theatrical. But perhaps no presents. You are becoming adults. That means learning what you need and what you don't. It is only a proposal.
Christmas without any presents!
Marmee, it does seem so
Sad.
Does the war have to take everything?
They work so hard,
And
Marmee.
Beth does too. She does so much at
And
home.
me at school?
Maybe no presents, Marmee, but we each have $1, and perhaps we could just spend it on ourselves.
Can't we buy what we really want?
What we really need.
All right, girls. I surrender.
I told you I used something with my dollar, Marmee. A real treat.
I have enough.
Thank you.
Girls, it's potato time. Miss Joe.
What?
Joe, you know you can't.
Please don't.
Oh, please. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Present.
Marches, march.
Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His truth is marching on. Can I do the time?
Potato.
The time for life, Meg. I'm dreadfully in debt.
Potato, Amy.
It's hot.
That's the point.
I owe a dozen pickled lines to the other girls at school. For if one girl licks another, she gives her a line. And I've gotten so many, but I haven't returned any. And soon I shall become a piranha.
Why don't you spend your Christmas dollar on limes?
I shall be using my dollar to buy a muff, Josephine, so we never shall have to carry a dirty hot potato ever again. Besides, that dollar is to spend on ourselves, not on others.
I know we ought to give up our presents gladly, but we're not that good.
We ought to do many things.
We ought to be grateful. After all, we have Father and Marmee and each other.
We haven't got Father and won't for a long time. Perhaps never.
Don't say
And
that.
that dollar can't bring it back, can it? So I'm getting myself a muff.
Amy. What's that? Hannah said Mr. Lawrence's grandson moved in next door. His parents died.
You sure can play.
Sad.
Orphan, all alone in that big house. You would be sad too.
He has a tutor, Hannah said, and his grandfather.
You could feel lonely in a crowd. It's not the right crowd.
Don't, Joe. It's so boyish.
watching, seeing you all. My name's Theodore, Laurence, but my friends call me Lori.
Laurence? That's terrible. Why not Theodore?
It's just not who I am. Don't you want to go inside?
Nobody understands in there.
Truly, you all seem so happy together. That is when I happen to see you.
They tease me and scold me and think I'm spoiled. Nobody even tries to understand me anywhere.
I'm trying.
Well, it doesn't pick a line to the other girls at school, you see.
Of course.
For if one girl likes another, she gives her a line, and I was becoming a piranha.
Naturally.
And Mr. Smith caught me passing a line.
That scoundrel.
He took me to the front of the room and he took a rod and he whacked me.
Shall I kill him for you?
So red and hot.
Better? Theodore Laurence, you cannot escape your lessons for... What is that? It's the neighbor's little girl, Brooks. Hello, neighbor's little
I'm
girl.
not a little girl, I'm not. I'm a full-grown
Bring her to her parents.
woman.
Theodore, you have Latin!
Yes? Can I help you?
I found a damsel crying upon your snowbed.
What are you doing?
Columbus, why aren't you in school?
Excuse
I
us,
want to
mister.
talk to Marmee.
Mister.
I want to talk to Marmee.
Excuse us.
Brooks, John Brooks. She may need this.
She's the damsel in distress. You must be that knight in shining armor.
Theodore, Latin. Latin!
No, there's enough violence in the country without men hitting little girls.
I'm not a little girl.
You may take leave from school for now, Amy.
Huzzah!
And be tutored by me at home instead. And no lines in my classroom.
Let's wash your face.
Really? Marmee, we all had to survive school. Why shouldn't she?
You like school.
I got to stay home, Joe.
Yes, Beth, but you are my conscience, is what you are. And Amy is terribly spoiled. What kind of lesson would she learn?
Look at Beth's flowers, will you?
Marmee, please no analogies.
Here is a violet. How do we care for it, Beth?
They like things calm, not too hot or too cold, and they like the shade of other plants, so we pot them with their relations.
And here is a rose. What does it need?
You have to put it where sun is, and they're delicate. They need support or they won't thrive.
Ow!
Thorns.
The rose would wilt if she gave it the care of another flower. The violet, too. One isn't better than the other. They just need different things to grow.
So if Beth is a violet
Oh.
and Amy a rose, what is Meg?
A daisy. She bloomed before all the others.
Then I am moss. Dirt. A rock.
You are whatever you're supposed to be. Look at them. Aren't they beautiful together?
The wound is salved with Mr. Lawrence's hanky, no less.
His name is Lori.
Laurence, that's terrible.
I want to hear all about it and about the rest of your day. So wash up for dinner.
Speaking of my day, Joe, the Mignotts have invited us to their dance this weekend.